Hey, it's Tpok, and I am in No Uta. And yes, I'm recording this on Sunday, so this will be out actually Monday. Tomorrow I'm gonna have No Uta, Sleepless Nights 2, and Katawa Shoujo. The reason I haven't had videos up this weekend is, or for the past, since like Wednesday, is my internet has been garbage. And so it's like I could have recorded ahead of time, but then I was like, well, there's no point if I can't even upload what I have. And in retrospect, I really should have done that. I should have pre-recorded. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to make up what I missed yesterday, do today's, technically, and then do tomorrow's tomorrow. And probably pre-record for the whole week, because I don't know the next time I can record. So, yeah. Sorry. And also, I don't even remember what was happening in this game. It has been so long. But, anyways. When she arrives at the Sakisaka house, Omi first takes a deep breath to calm herself. Her anger does not vanish entirely, of course, but at least now she can hear herself think. Oh yeah, space is not the answer. While waiting for a response from the intercom, she looks over the patch of yard that she can see from outside the gate. Even Omi isn't normally one to complain about other people's housekeeping, but this is going too far. The grass is growing wild and there are piles of dead leaves scattered everywhere. It doesn't just look untended, it looks like an uninhabited ruin. It is still light out, but every window has its storm shutters tightly sealed. Omi guesses they've been closed since this morning. What kind of life is Fuminori leading? Even if he's living alone, he can't neglect his housework forever. And is it just her imagination, or does something stink like rotten meat? It couldn't be coming from the yard, could it? There's still no response, so she presses the browser a second time, and a third, and a fourth. Finally, after this has gone on for 10 minutes, Omi loses her patience and opens the cover of the intercom. As she expected, the power has been disconnected. Perhaps Fuminori has a good reason for shutting out the world, but Omi can only see it as a lack of respect for others. Her anger rekindled, she pushes the gate open and stomps through the yard to the front door. Even the state of his intercom, she doubts that Fuminori will respond to a knock, so Omi decides to simply open the door and go on shouting. And if the door is locked, she'll just have to. Surprisingly, the doorknob turns easily in her hand, and the enraged Omi finds herself throwing the door open wider than she intended. Her nostrils are instantly assaulted by a choking stench. What is that smell? As Omi stands petrified on the threshold, the cowbell hanging on the inside of the door, chimes loudly. A moment later, "Welcome home." Omi can't believe her ears. The voice she just heard could not have been human, yet its intonations were too complex for any animal she can imagine. Is someone there? She calls to the end of the hallway from which the voice came. There is no response. Instead, she hears the sound of something soft and wet flopping its way deeper into the house. Finding it difficult to place a meaningful image to the voice she just heard, Omi stares blankly at the empty vestibule. There is nothing, not even Fuminori's shoes, which can only mean that he's outside somewhere, wearing them. The house should be empty. But then what was that voice just now? Okay, so the girl that Fuminori's with, Seiya, so he sees Seiya like a normal person and everyone else opposite. Like disgusting. But she must really be opposite. She must be disgusting. Like one of the sludge things that he sees to everyone else. And please don't tell me that the room is coated in gunk. So he sees it normally. No, it was painted green, but it looks red, so that's why I'm confused. I don't know. Her anger has vanished as if it were never there. Nevertheless, Omi sets foot into the hallway, leaving the door wide open so the cowbell won't ring. The floor creaks, setting her nerves on edge. Omi herself isn't sure why she's acting like a burglar, but something tells her to make as little noise as possible. The potency of the stink inside the house makes the whiff she caught outside pale in comparison. It's sickening, like rotten fish guts. Has food been left to spoil in the kitchen? She hears a bubbling sound up ahead. Stepping gingerly on the creaking floorboards, Omi makes her way to the end of the hallway. She finds a room to both sides of her, one lit and the other dark, and chooses to look into the lit room. It's the kitchen, lit by what must be the only window in the house not to be covered by a storm shutter. The sound she heard was the pot boiling on the stove. On the chopping board next to it lie a butcher's knife and some half-diced carrots. A perfectly normal household scene, with the light of the setting sun making everything the color of decomposing fruit. Something is wrong. Who's cooking here and where did they go? Is anyone here? Omi calls, regretting it immediately as she realizes that her voice is shaking. As her words echo vainly through the silent house, she begins to feel foolish and defenseless. Suddenly she feels something cold seeping through her pantyhose. She timidly reaches down to touch her feet. Her fingertips come away covered with a viscous olive-green slime, like the filthy water from a tank long clogged with algae and dead fish. The whole floor is covered with it. It must be the source of the stench. So that's what the green is. Okay. Omi now wishes that she could have worn her shoes inside. Manners be damned. When she looks back ruefully the way she came, she realizes that her current position is not visible from the entrance. The kitchen must be where the strange voice came from. The next room is probably the den. As she expected from the closed storm shutters, it's pitch black inside. Omi wants nothing more than to flee this house, but that would mean turning her back to the darkness, and that she simply cannot bring herself to do. Moved by some irrational compulsion, Omi sets foot into the den. It is too dark to see anything, and the stink is far worse than before. She slides her hand along the wall, feeling for a light switch. Finding it much sooner than she expected, she flips it on like it's her last hope. Ew. Colors. Colors. So many colors. The purple of entrails, the brown of rotten meat, the crimson of fresh blood, the yellow of fat. These colors, and more, cannot be described, cover every inch of the room in maddening array. The colors say all that need to be said about the painter's hatred, malice, and insanity. Omi's legs give out in the shock, sending her to the floor. Slime immediately soaks through her jeans, its cold tendrils creeping up her legs, crotch, and her neck. Her hand flies to her neck where it is greeted by another drop of chilly slime. Above her, something is dripping down on her head. Making perhaps the worst decision of her life, Omi looks up. The predator clinging to the ceiling, poised to leap upon his prey. She sees it in every detail. Oh. Her mouth and nose are sealed before she can scream, and her belly is torn open as something enters to feast on her innards. What? But by the time she feels any of this, Omi has already gone mad. What the heck? I bit the bullet and tried to take the train, but the rush hour crowds were so bad that I had to get off halfway and walk. I'm running pretty late. Is Saya worried? I hope she's not mad. When I entered the yard, I realized that the front door has been left wide open. Light from the living room is seeping out into the hallway, and I hear what sounds like someone smacking their lips. There's also a tantalizing fragrance in the air. Is it Saya? I consider calling out to her, but I decide to enter in silence instead. Something smells strange, though not unpleasant. The aroma is quite soothing, in fact. It reminds me of Saya's hair. At first I'm surprised at what I see in the living room. The floor is covered with what looks to be some kind of grass, probably the source of the herb-like smell, and there are fruit or vegetable-like balls of varying size scattered everywhere. Saya? Ah! Saya turns around, her eyes wide with surprise. She then looks away sheepishly, like a child caught at some prank. What are you eating? This is, well, she stammers, so flustered that I suddenly feel bad for sneaking up on her. Remembering that she's never eaten in front of me before, I realize that she must be quite embarrassed. Can I have one? I scoop up the closest fruit thing and pop it into my mouth, ignoring Saya's attempt to wave me off. Are you eating like an eyeball? It is a strange texture, soft and pliable, like a peach or a pear. When I bite into it with my back teeth, a succulent juice fills my mouth, combined with a sharp, strong fragrance. It's unlike anything I've ever tasted. How did you make this? What did you use? It wasn't hard. I just took it apart and melted it a little to make it easier to eat. It's practically raw. Oh? I pick up a different lump, this one consisting of fruity flesh around a hard core. Tearing a chunk off in my mouth, I find that it has a similar taste to the last one. Hey, are you okay? That's yeah, even I can eat this. In fact, it's good. Really? At first Saya looks dumbstruck, but then she burst out laughing. So this is what you like. Now I feel stupid for going to all that trouble. Is this what you always eat, Saya? Yeah, though it's been a while since I've had one so big. I usually catch them in the nearby park. There's an impressive nature preserve not too far from here. I've never heard about fruits like these growing there, but, well, of course, they only look like fruits to me. They're really something else. Sorry, I already ate the best parts. That's okay. There's always next time, and now we can eat together. Yeah. Sei seems really happy. I'm happy too, of course. Eating with someone is much more fun than eating alone, and makes the food taste better too. There's still plenty left. It'll keep chilled for 2 or 3 days, though it won't taste as good. Then we'd better start putting it away. Sealing the small fruits in the Tupperware and the large ones in pots and bowls, Sei and I store the remaining food in the refrigerator. Thinking of tomorrow's dinner fills me with anticipation. I feel that, little by little, I'm starting to regain the joy of the living. Sei will guide me. With her, I can live on. Ew. True Scary Stories, Hospital Edition. Chapter 4, The Monster in the University Hospital. A research student relates his shocking experiences at Tokyo's most prestigious hospital. Will you believe him or not? Strange things started happening at the hospital around the end of last spring. It began with patients waking up in the middle of the night screaming. They all spoke of terrifying nightmares, and many of them had to be sedated. Some patients even transferred to other hospitals because of it. The weird thing was that they'd all had exactly the same dream. Dream about some horribly disgusting monster staring down at them from their bedside. But the really strange stuff started happening after that. There used to be a lot of stray cats around campus, looking for scraps from the students. One day the cats suddenly disappeared, and it wasn't that they'd stopped coming. It was more like they'd vanished from the area entirely. And then people started walking their dogs around. According to rumors, the dogs were refusing to go anywhere near the school. Eventually, things started going missing in the hospital. Organs, to be precise. Transplant organs kept disappearing from storage. Some people came close to losing their jobs over it. And it wasn't just 2 or 3 times that it happened. They tried to keep it from the research students, but we heard that it was a lot worse than that. People started saying that there was something living in the hospital. The janitors would find strange messes that could only have been made in the middle of the night, traces of something that had crawled down the hallway, or weird stains that have seemed to be caused by something dripping through the ceiling. The late shift nurses talked about hearing strange noises on the same nights that patients woke up screaming. There's one last story, one that you can never mention inside the hospital. One day, the obstetrics department went crazy. They said that a newborn had disappeared in the night. If that were true, the police would have come and it would have been all over the news. But they say that the big shots managed to make it all go away. It's just a rumor, of course. These strange incidents suddenly stopped towards the end of the summer. Now there are almost no patients complaining of nightmares, and the cats have started coming back to campus. But still, what happened in this hospital that summer? Even now, just thinking about it gives me the creeps. Oh, I pumped my mic, but that was Saya. Nothing. This is the 3rd day in a row that they haven't been able to get in touch with Omi. There's no sign that she returned to her apartment, and even her family doesn't know a thing. Her parents have already filed a missing persons report. Well, you know her, she'll probably just pop up somewhere like nothing happened. I hope so, Yo replies with a gloomy expression. She's worried about Omi, of course, but the incident with Fuminori 3 days ago must still be weighing on her mind as well. Yo hasn't seen Fuminori since then, and Fuminori hasn't made any effort to approach her or Koji. 4 people used to meet in this cafeteria between classes, but now there are only 2. Hey, Koji, let's keep thinking. Isn't there somewhere Omi might have gone? No, Koji answers evasively. I already checked everywhere. It's a lie, of course. Koji knows where Omi planned to go that evening, but he doesn't want to bring Fuminori up in front of Yo. Their awkward silence is mercifully broken by the bell signaling the start of the next period. Well, I've gotta go. Yeah. If Koji isn't mistaken, Yo is supposed to have class next period too, but she just sits there, staring off into space. Unable to come up with anything to say, he leaves the cafeteria reluctantly. Both Omi's disappearance and Yo's depression worry Koji, and both problems lead back to the exact same place. What the hell is Fuminori doing? When Omi went missing, the first thing he did was question Fuminori. After all, the last time he'd seen her was just before she stormed off to give Fuminori a piece of her mind. Fuminori responded with unequivocal denial and acted like he hadn't the slightest idea of why Omi would have gone to see him. Perhaps that was only natural, as he was unaware that Omi and Koji had witnessed him reduce Yo to tears. Did Omi even make it to Fuminori's house? Had she been riding a wave of emotion when she'd left? She had been riding a wave of emotion when she'd left. And she might have calmed down and changed her mind halfway there. Or perhaps she ran into trouble on the way. Koji concluded, or more accurately convinced himself, that one of these possibilities was the truth, subconsciously denying the one remaining possibility that Fuminori was lying, that he had met Omi and was involved with her disappearance. When questioned by the police, Koji told the truth about Omi's destination only up till the train station, maintaining that he had no idea where she'd planned to go after that. He wanted to cooperate with the search, of course, but Omi couldn't have made it to Fuminori's house. Fuminori said so himself, didn't he? In that case, he told the police everything they needed to know. Not wanting to get the still fragile Fuminori involved, he forced himself to accept this flimsy logic. But the conflict has built up inside him without his notice, leaving unanswered suspicion to fester in his mind. Koji is deep in thought, paying no attention to his surroundings, but perhaps that is what allows him to catch sight of his friend's back through the crowd of milling students. Fuminori. Okay guys, well, we'll see what Fuminori has to say next time, but yeah, thanks for watching.